The protest began with a rally at a park with crowds and marching through a main shopping district. It's the third consecutive day of demonstrations in the territory. Protesters want an inquiry into police handling of weeks of unrest and the withdrawal of a controversial extradition bill. Well, Andrew Thomas joins us live now from Hong Kong. Andrew, so just bring us up to date with what's been happening today, because we understand earlier protesters had been attacking a local police station.
They were about 3 hours ago now, Darren. There was a police station on Nathan Road, which is one of the main shopping streets on the Kowloon side of Hong Kong Harbour. And that really became the focal point for the big protest that followed a peaceful and authorised protest earlier on Saturday, one that the police had given permission for. And protesters there were walking about 3 kilometres a circle to and from a park. Well, a lot of protesters broke away from that and in their tens of thousands started massing on Nathan Road, well, this main shopping street, using barricades to block it off at both ends, and then really massing around this police station, throwing rocks at it, using long sticks to smash cars inside the compound, the police compound as well. And after about an hour and a half of this, the police moved in with tear gas and slowly but surely, it didn't happen in one go, but slowly but surely moved the protesters back down Nathan Road. And as you can see now, most are now drifting off and going back home. So this could have really come to a head. It didn't. The police seemed to deal with it reasonably swiftly with this tear gas and reasonably calmly. But yet again, protests that started peaceful have ended with some violence, some confrontation. And this is just the first day of a weekend of protests. We're expecting 2 more on Sunday, and then on Monday, a general strike is being called for across Hong Kong, and more protests still. These protests show no sign of dying down, Darren.
And Andrew, is there a sense that the protesters were almost goading the police into making some kind of response?
Well, they wouldn't see it that way, but certainly as an independent observer, if you like, watching what they were doing, then yes, it did feel like that. A lot of protesters came clearly expecting confrontation. They came with gas masks, they came wearing helmets, most had covered their faces. Now, they say there are very legitimate reasons for that. They don't want, down the line, their pictures captured by CCTV cameras to be identified and them to be arrested. Of course, the flip side of that is it means that they're that much more anonymous when they're doing low-level but violent things, throwing rocks at the police station. I saw some protesters opening up the bottom of a traffic light and snipping through the wires, therefore taking that traffic light out of action. They say, the protesters told me that on Monday, when this general strike is going on, they really want to shut down Hong Kong, and one way to do that is to snarl up the traffic. Well, they say they need all these things for protection from the police who have been heavy-handed in the past. But of course, it does look pretty provocative when they're hurling rocks at the police stations. The protesters, on the other side again, say that peaceful protest simply has not worked here in the past. They had well over 1 million people taken to the streets in June to get rid of these controversial extradition laws, and at that time the government took very little notice. It was only when the protests started turning low-level violent in June and into July, they say, that the government took any notice whatsoever. They feel they need to keep the pressure up with this low-level violence.
All right, Andrew Thomas there in Hong Kong. Andrew, thank you.